So let's scroll up and let's first create a relationship. We're going to tie the tag with the nodes that that tag was used in. Now, we could build this view entirely by using a node base instead of a tag base as well. And that can be a great way to test your view's skills. So let's click on Advanced and click on Relationships. We want to click Add. So we only have a few options here. What we want is content with term. We don't want content using tags that's too general, that includes anything that's using any tag. We want to create a relationship between each term and the content that uses it. So we'll check this, and then we'll check Apply All Displays. For the identifier, I'm going to put node using term, and we'll require the relationship. I'll click Apply All Displays. And if we scroll down, we're going to see things have changed just a little bit. Now you see duplicate entries for our tags. That's because the ones where you see multiple entries have multiple pieces of content that use the term. So backstory is used twice, geek abuse is used twice, how to, if we scroll down, is used 3 times, and so on. So now that we've created the connection between the content and the tags, we then need to pull these connections together and to aggregate them. So I'm going to scroll up here, and what we're going to do is use this Use Aggregation setting. So we'll click on No, and we'll check Aggregate, and click Apply All Displays. Now this will give us some additional fields to work with. If we scroll down and look at the preview, we'll still see that there are multiple entries for each tag. If we click Update Preview just to make sure, you see that they still stay there. I'm going to scroll up, and now let's go ahead and add a field that shows the number of content items that use the tag. Again, this is enabled for us by clicking Use Aggregation. So I'll click Add next to Fields, and I'm going to search for Name. Now what we're looking for is taxonomy term name. We could also use a taxonomy ID, but we'll stick with name for now. So I'm going to check taxonomy term name and click Apply All Displays. And now we have this option, aggregation type. The aggregation that we want is to use count. This will give us the number, and let's click Apply and Continue. We want to uncheck Create a Label. We don't need a label for this. We'll leave everything else at the defaults for now, though we'll come back and edit some settings in a little bit. And I'll click Apply All Displays. And if we scroll down, you see that we now have some aggregation happening. We have each tag with their own line and the number of items that that tag belongs to. So you see Backstory has 2, Geek Abuse has 2, and How To has 3. The duplicates have disappeared by simply adding this aggregated field. And this is a little bit of magic. It doesn't necessarily make sense that this happened, but basically what we did by enabling the field was we said that, yes, we're definitely going to use aggregation for this feed. Just by turning on aggregation doesn't mean that we are going to see everything aggregated. We then have to enable the fields that get enabled through turning that on in order to trigger the actual aggregation. So this is pretty awesome if you think about the different ways that we could use aggregation. For example, we could show the number of posts that an individual user has made or a group of users. If we're using voting, we can use this to aggregate votes together to get a sum of the total votes or stars that are associated with a piece of content. There's all kinds of things we can do with this. This is just one narrow application.